Hello and welcome to the Other 14 FC podcast. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
Tom, a West Ham fan.
And this is your podcast for everything not top six. Tired your team being last on match of the day and not getting the flowers they deserve, but that's about to change. Tom, what do we have for listeners this week?
It's awards time. Our Ballon D'Other 14 Player of the Year. Biggest flops, absolute limbs, rookies, signings and veterans. But first, it's time for Old Men Yell at Clouds. What are you angry about this week?
I think the World Cup, man. Like, I don't know if I'm turning into you or an old man, but I'm not excited for it at all at the moment. I think it's something to do with being over 30 and having these kick-off times of like 8 p.m, 9 p.m, 11 p.m, 1 a.m, 3 a.m. If I was in my 20s, I'd be like, yep, bang, this is awesome. I'll be out all night. I'll be watching them all. It'll be perfect. But I want to be watching games at like 3 p.m. when I'm meant to be working, or like 12 when I'm meant to be working. Then like go down to the pub for the late kickoff, which is 8 o'clock. Not the games all kicking off at 8 o'clock, or all starting at 8 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? That is old grumpy man yell at clouds right there. I feel
100%. 100%. That is absolutely perfect for this segment. Like, that is old men yell at clouds situation. But I do agree. It's interesting. I think from a socio-political point of view, I'm not looking forward to this World Cup at all. And I think it's like a terrible thing to be having, like the dynamic ticket pricing, what we've seen with the Somalian referee, just the political situation in America right now. I don't think they should be hosting a World Cup. Like Infantino cozying up to him, he's just another in a long line of terrible FIFA presidents. But it's weird, on a footballing level, I'm actually quite looking forward to it. Everyone I speak to, no one's particularly looking forward to it, and we've just come off a grueling season, and we both work in football. And for West Ham, it was a particularly long, grueling season. And maybe the news about David Sullivan has got me revitalised about football again. But, you know, I'm actually looking forward to it. Like, maybe it's also the fact that I stay up at random times to watch NFL throughout the year. So these 1 a.m. kickoffs to watch Scotland versus Haiti kind of excite me.
You just always got to be different, haven't you? Always have to be fucking different. I could have said I'm looking forward to it, like, nah, not looking forward to it, man. Like,
oh yeah. I just disagree with you. Just want to disagree with you.
What you got to yell at them, mate?
Right. Well, I had a few days off work last week, not to do particularly much, just to take a mental break. And EA FC 26, whatever it's called, FIFA 26 is now on PlayStation Plus. So rather than spending the £60 to get it, I got it for free. But
is this the actual EA one or the FIFA one that they released?
No, it's the actual EA one. I just hate calling it FC 26. It's FIFA 26 to me. Like, it will always be FIFA, like, in my mind. But the gameplay is just trash. And this is very much old man playing video game that he's rusty at. But everyone feels so slow. You can't cut with the ball because the defender will just get it off you. Like, it's just got really, really stale. I think they've just FIFA peaked sort of 10 to 15 years ago for me. And that's obviously nostalgia, and like those were my uni years and stuff. Those were when I'm sure we were both logging lots of hours, like going like deep in career mode. I know you were a big Ultimate Team at the time. Career mode was always my thing, but yeah, man, it's just not the same. It's just janky as hell.
Yeah, I don't know how in first year I managed to play 15 hours of Ultimate Team a day and still have a girlfriend. It shows how much of a relationship
you say this, but no one's ever met this girlfriend, so
get outrageous. But no, I was a PES man anyway. PES was the one. Football games peaked at PES 6 and PES 5. I don't care what anyone says. Adriano with 98 fucking shot power. Those were the days. But yeah,
classic.
Yeah, I mean, just touch on a bit more World Cup stuff. I think we'll probably have a couple of World Cup specials during the summer, maybe. But our schedule, basically moving forward, we'll look at awards now, team of the season over 2 episodes next 2 weeks. So, and then some season previews after those World Cup specials. So you got a bit more of us during the off season, which probably all listeners are not looking forward to. But yeah, I think we'll take a break and
Before
get in.
before we have a break and get into it, this is the first time you've resurfaced after 2 weeks of celebrating the Conference League final. Give us a quick recap. I know
Have we not?
a lot of it was hazy for you. No, we haven't recorded. I haven't been able to nail you down for 2 weeks.
Fucking hell, I did. I thought we had recorded since then. Yeah, oh mate, like dream come true stuff is the only way I could describe it. Oh, just being out there with my mum. We had a week in Germany, so flew to Berlin and went over to Leipzig on a train. And just there must have been about 40,000 Palace fans out there. I, if you were a house robber, it was the time to go looting in South London, especially Croydon, because I think everyone and their dog was in Leipzig. It was crazy. Like you look out the windows at some of the bars, and it's just a sea of red and blue. There was a march to the stadium with the HF set up, and it was unbelievable. Like that was dream come true stuff for me. Just looking around and being like, we've taken over a whole city as red and blue. It
Mm,
was unreal. And then obviously the game, the stadium. I messaged you about the stadium when I got there. I was like, this is a real proper football stadium. This is a proper like atmosphere. Just it was amazing. And then the outcome was brilliant. The celebrations afterwards, my mum was up till 3 a.m. with me and all the other Palace fans celebrating. Just like yeah, I can't say it enough. But also just want to point out the Real Vallecano fans I met out there were outstanding as well. You could tell they were a proper football club. A lot of
mm,
people were saying they're like the Crystal Palace of Madrid because they're like south of Madrid and they're not the money club. Every fan we met was absolutely lovely to speak to. I think the banner they were put down at the end, which was
yeah.
read along terms of it's like beautiful to be like
Still with
experiences
you in
lost.
defeat.
Yeah, being with you in defeat than it would be in victory. I was like, that's massive. Like that's something I could see Palace doing, and if you, yeah, they were standing. They stayed till the end as well. There were so many of them. Their tifo, I think, was even better than the Palace tifo from the HF with the horse and then the crazy horse eyes underneath it. So yeah, I felt for them quite a lot from it, and obviously being there as a Palace fan before the FA Cup, we all felt like that. So yeah, I really want to put a massive thing out for Real Vallecano fans, and I'm looking into getting myself a Real Vallecano shirt because they also have one of the coolest football shirts I think in the world with the lightning bolt going across it. And I'm not one to wear another team's football shirt, but that feels like special circumstances with that. So yeah, just dream come true stuff is the only way to describe it. And I'm sure yeah, people are probably going to be sick of me going on about being European champions by about halfway through the season. But yeah, honestly, mate, perfect end to the season. I thought last season was the perfect end to the season.
Well, it's all right. It's only downhill from here, as
Yeah,
I can speak from
it's
experience.
uh, another thing. Yeah, like I stood there and I said to my mom in the stands when we'd left the trophy, it's like this is the peak of the mountain. It's all downhill from here.
Mhm.
It's not getting better than that. Europa League will be good. If we have a game away at the San Siro, that would probably be the icing on the cake. But we're not winning that. Like, and we've lost Glasner, and that'll be the end of Europe forever. And we'll probably get relegated, and we'll be where West Ham are now. As long as we don't do a Leicester, I don't mind. I can
Yeah.
do a West Ham, but not a Leicester.
Well, we'll see what happens to West Ham.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've won as many trophies as United have in the last 10 years or something as well, which put that in there for. I know some of my partner's family listen to this, they're all United fans, so yeah, I
Nice
thought I'd
little
just do that.
dig.
Yeah, cool. Okay, now let's take a break and get into our awards for the season.
Let's do it.
Okay, and we're back. So, I think should we just break down the categories for the listeners before we get into it, Tom? Do you want to run through them quickly and what order we'll be doing them in?
Yeah, so we're going to start off strong with our Ballon D'Other 14, aka Player of the Season. Then we'll go to our Manager of the Season, Goal of the Season. So those are your standard ones, and then we've got Rookie of the Season rather than the Premier League's weird under 24 player that they do. So Rookie of the Season is first year in the Premier League and under 21 at the start of the season. And then we've got a Flop of the Season, Signing of the Season, and then flip side to the Rookie of the Season, we've got Veteran. So players who were over 35 at the end of the season qualify for that.
I'm
And
calling
then
that a bullshit category already because there's only one person. Well, I know who you picked without you even telling me, but I'm still calling it
if you
bullshit.
said Nathaniel Klein for that, we're going to end the podcast right now.
It was nearly my choice, but I went elsewhere. But I know who you picked, and I'm calling bullshit already. So
I don't think you do, but we'll get onto it. And then lastly, a couple of fun ones, shithouse of the season and limbs of the season. So let's start with the meat of the sandwich. Ballon D'Other 14.
are you
Player
sure
of
you're not
the
going to be a dictator this year and tell me exactly who it is? You're going to give me a
Well,
choice.
okay, so this year, rather than finding out that rather than giving Alex the answers, I've come with nominations.
You're such an arsehole.
So, who's your first nomination?
My first. What should we do? My strongest nomination first, or should we do weak nominations first? How do you
Do
want
you
to
want
go?
to get do you want to get like weakish ones out of the way? AKA, so by the way, one qualifier for this, they have to have stayed with the other 14 team throughout the season. So Antoine Semenyo, who was probably building a very worthwhile case, left halfway through the season, doesn't count for this award.
Yeah. Okay. So I think my honourable mentions or like weak selections. I'm
Hmm.
putting Sarr there, like
Fair
Ishmaela.
enough.
I mean, 21 goals across the season. Biased, I don't care. He's going in there for me. Then next one, Roofs for Sunderland. I think probably goalie of
Interesting.
the season for me. He's probably coming in elsewhere in this for me anyway. So honourable mention there. I also have the Forest duo of Morgan Gibbs White and Elliot Anderson in there because I think they've gone under the radar a bit, like with every other like what was it? Every other platform that have been talking about football. I think because Forest had like I guess a disappointing season in the end, like with the finishing the table and not not winning anything. But I think Elliot Anderson was the best player I saw in person this year by a mile. That's even including top six sides. Like
Mm.
he took the piss out of some Palace players when we played him both at the City Ground.
I mean,
More,
Anton Anderson, he kind of similar situation to like when Declan Rice was at West Ham, and similar to Adam Wharton at Palace, sort of thing. Like he's never going to win these awards that are like cover a lot of players and generally like quite stats like related sort of thing. But I completely agree. I do have Gibbs White on my list. He did end the season in sensational form, but was pretty quiet until January. Like he
that's it,
got
isn't it?
15
Yeah.
goals across the season, but only three of those were between August and January. So I think with a lot of these players, they had good spells, but it was really tough to find someone who was consistently really good for all 9 months of the season.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And I mean, Morgan Gibbs White was top English goal scorer as well.
Mm.
Was that? It's not even just
I
top
think
English.
Watkins just edged him at the end, didn't he?
Oh, was it? Sorry, then it's top scoring midfielder for
Mm.
England in the league. Then Thiago as well. I I mean he's banged loads of goals, but I don't like him because he couldn't score. He couldn't score that goal against Arsenal.
Interesting, he's down as your honourable mention because
No,
I kind of thought that
I
he was going to be your strong one.
no, he's not my strong one. He's definitely not my strongest one. He's probably my second. So
Okay,
yeah,
we'll come on to Igor Thiago because I've got a couple of other probably looser ones that I'll bring up. Jared Bowen, I think, just needs to be in the conversation. Like, I think the captaincy really weighed on him, and obviously West Ham got relegated, so I wouldn't put him in there. And obviously, homerism bias, but like, he's up there for goals and assists, like 9 goals, 11 assists, like 20 goal contributions, gets you in this conversation, in my opinion. Another one, Morgan Rogers, he had spells where he was completely untouchable, but then he had too many dips and peaks in his form over the course of the season for me to be like to really make a case for him. Like 40% of his goals came in a 2 game spell against West Ham and Man United in December, like where he scored back-to-back braces, and it's like that it was those kind of things where like 3 4 games at a time, Morgan Rogers was like one of the best players in the league by far, and then it'd go quiet for a few weeks, and it's like didn't carry that throughout the course of the season.
yeah, I'd agree. Well, we know that about Morgan Rogers, don't we? Like that's exactly what happened last season as well. He was setting the place on fire and then just not being there in other games. So
Yeah, and
once
then
again, we're saying if we can put the season together next year, it'd be unplayable.
exactly, exactly, and then his teammate Ollie Watkins, I do think also has to be in the conversation. Like ended the season really well, 16 goals, and you've got the Europa League triumph. But again, similar to Gibbs White, only 3 of those goals were before Christmas.
I was gonna say he
So
had turgid start of the season, didn't he? I
uh,
remember he got that not lucky-ish goal against Chelsea, or was that on the runway? He scored like 2-2 or 3-3, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's coming together." And it's just, yeah,
yeah,
I would agree with you there.
and then I think maybe one that you might, well, two names that I don't think you probably have as your number one. Harry Wilson had a great first half of the season, scored banger after banger, but then two goals since February and none in the last seven matches as Fulham sort of limped over the line.
No, mate, he's my number one. I think
He's
he's
your
been,
number one.
yeah, I still think he was doing bits throughout the year for Fulham. Like he'd been their
Oh,
standout player.
wow.
I
I'm
think
very surprised about that.
really, I think he'd been doing so well at the beginning of the season, and he'd still been doing bits throughout the end of the year, like scoring bangers, being almost
But
messy like at
he only
times.
scored two goals since February.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It was just assists he's still bringing to the game. He'd been the best player on the pitch by a long way, like, and he'd been the one player for me that stood out. Come on, then, who's your other one there, and then who's your number one? And let me see if I agree with you.
Well, the one I actually think has probably been the best player this season is Alex Scott.
Mm,
I think he's been I think his importance to Bournemouth's rise to sixth place in the league and a Europa League finish has been absolutely fundamental. I think he does so many things. Like he is so all action, similar to Adam Wharton, but I think Scott is a bit more of an end product. He links the attack and the defense. He hasn't got the numbers, but he's got key goals like the winner against Arsenal at the Emirates,
but
and
you're saying,
he does a lot of defensive contributions as well. Like he has um who's it next to him? Tyler Adams next to him, who's mostly defensive, and Scott does like the box to box stuff, but he contributes everywhere. And I think if I looked at one Bournemouth player after Semenyo left, who really stood up and rose to the occasion and was so vital in them going 18 games unbeaten at the end of the season, it's Adam Scott for me.
yeah, how many times have we talked about him on the podcast? That's what I was thinking. We haven't been
Almost every
talking.
week, we were like, Adam Scott's like, how good is Adam Scott? Especially towards the end of the season when Bournemouth were really clicking on all heels. And maybe this is recency bias, but also I don't think you're necessarily like similar to the case I made for Anderson with a central midfielder who's not going to get those lofty numbers of goals and assists, but does so much other important stuff. And like just the way Iraola wants his team to play, he demands so much of his players. And Scott, the engine that he has to do all of that, like all action, like press, he joins the press and attack. He makes defensive contributions. I mean, I just think he's been such a great player this year.
But
Like,
but Bournemouth did go through that barren spell as well. Like, well, they
yeah,
were
like an 11 game spell where they were terrible, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I say. Like, no one player has been great for 12 months of the season. I'm surprised you're not making more of a case for Igor Thiago. I thought that
basically
was
that
going to be
Arsenal
your
game.
one.
Ever since that Arsenal game, yeah, I'm annoyed
But
at
this
him.
is the thing. I think we've ended up on the same side of the table, where I think a lot of people will say Igor Thiago should be your player of the season. He scored 22 Premier League goals. Like he was absolutely on fire those first 6 months. There was a couple of games, a 2 game spell where he scored a hat trick against Everton and two against Sunderland, and they were all really nice goals, great runs, good finishes. And then this is where I thought I was going to have to be the naysayer to this argument, and like you know how I've been over the last few months criticizing him for just scoring penalties. Like 22 goals were penalties, and he missed so many good chances in the back
That's
half
it,
of the
isn't it? Like,
season that I just feel like I don't feel good about say like putting him forward to it, even
no,
though his stats are there.
yeah, but I think for me as well, having seen him live and him basically, it just seemed like nullify him, which we did with Lacroix and Richards, and Brentford aren't in the game, and we did that at Sellers where we beat him 2-0 pretty comfortably. I was just like, Yeah. Whereas with Harry Wilson, he scored that absolute wicked goal against us at Craven Cottage, where it's the build-up play and then he travellas it into the top corner. That's why he's up there for me, and just what he's been doing the whole season. But are you going to be a dictator and just make it Alex Scott or Adam Scott, as you were calling him earlier?
No, I was getting confused between Tyler Adams and I was like Tyler Adam, Alex Scott. No, I mean I would love it to be Alex Scott, but I don't know. I mean, I know it's an individual award, but I don't think you can necessarily always take out the team, like the team finish, the team because Fulham limped over the line to finish what 10th, 11th, whereas Alex Scott powered Bournemouth over the line to finish 6th.
Yeah, but if the season finished in Christmas, you'd be saying that about Harry Wilson. They powered him up to, I think we were bound for 4th and 5th at that point.
Yeah, maybe it's recency bias, but and he was so good at the start of the season, Harry Wilson. But
why don't we just split the difference and put Thiago there and no one's happy?
That's the problem. Is it probably is Thiago for scoring 22 goals.
Are we going to have to get really upset about who we make our player of the season?
This is what I thought. I thought you were going to come saying Thiago because the stats are there. And I was going to be really upset, but begrudgingly say probably on the balance of it, it is.
Oh, great.
So we're both pissed. Alex Scott, then.
We're both pissed and Thiago's our player of the season. Great. Can't wait to make the social for that. Happy fucking day.
If you'd have called this at December, I would have agreed with you. Harry Wilson was unplayable at times, and he was scoring bangers. I just look at 2 goals since February and none in the last 7 matches. Like, it is recency bias, but
mate, there's only
he just tailed off completely.
How about we put this to the people? We'll put Thiago, Harry Wilson, and Alex/Adam Scott to a poll on Ironster, and the 3 people that listen to this can vote for it. How about that?
Okay, well, I'm saying it's Alex Scott, but yeah. He's my player of the season anyway.
And Harry Wilson's mine. Great. No one's happy.
No one's happy.
We'll announce the winner of that on our socials maybe later this week if anyone votes. Cool. Let's move on to our next category, manager of the season. Any standout? Well, any honourable mentions for you? I'll let you go first for honourable mentions.
Not really honourable mention. I've got 4 candidates that I think I'd probably be okay with you picking any of them. So unless you've got a rogue 5th candidate that surprises me.
Your player of the season's anything to go by, it's going to be Areola because of recency bias.
I mean, I'm not sure you can call a 6th place finish recency bias.
No, mate, whatever. Is he your number 1?
Yes.
Is anyone in this not Bournemouth involved?
No, I might just be on loan to Bournemouth for the season whilst West Ham are in the Championship.
God damn it.
And no, Bournemouth are involved at every good stage of this because they finished 6th in the Premier League. Bournemouth did. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for that.
Come on, who are you others then?
Okay, we'll go through, I'll just reel them off and then we'll go through their achievements one by one. Unai Emery, Regis Lebris, and Keith Andrews are my 4 nominations.
Okay, Lebris is my number 1 because I think that Sunderland achievement is being slept on big time.
Okay, but then you come in for me for recency bias. You were slagging off Regis Lebris not 2 months ago.
What about?
You were like, oh, I think maybe he's taken his foot off the gas. Maybe
I was not saying that.
You were like, oh, this is probably boding badly for next season. They're and then they turned it around.
That was all caveated with, it might be, and it was basically the equivalent of Wolves winning every game last season, and you needed to watch out for what might happen. Then what happened next season? They got relegated. Oracle ain't wrong, mate.
But you didn't predict that. I predicted that.
No. Okay, which one do we want to talk about? Because we're all over the houses. Let's talk about your 2 honourable mentions, and then we'll...
Yeah, okay, let's talk about the 2 that we're not going to fight about. Unai Emery, I mean, 4th place finish and the Europa League success. He probably... I mean, I know both of us aren't batting for him, but he's probably what most fans would say you would give it to. Like, I know there is expectation amongst Villa. I know they were in the Champions League 2 years ago, and I know they started the Europa League campaign as favourites now that no Champions League teams dropped down.
Mm.
But they still achieved all those things. Like Villa's first trophy since I want to say 96 or something, or since the mid 90s at least, and like finishing fourth. Like I think the one thing that clouds our Unai Emery sort of take this season is they kind of had that fourth spot, well, top four sewn up by January, February, and then other teams started closing the gap on them, but they kind of just did enough over the end of the season to maintain it.
Yeah, I guess Europe became more of the priority, didn't it? Winning that trophy rather than concentrating on finishing, well, Champions League, which they basically secured.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember they were, in a title race until about, was as far as February? Or am I making it up?
No, they were in definitely January, February time, but Unai Emery did say all that time that they weren't in a title race, and we were all like scoffing at him, going like,
well,
you are. We're going to tell you are, but he was kind of right, and I think at the end of the day they did start prioritizing the Europa League, and I will never forgive them, and that's why I can't put him as my number one for that Tottenham debacle, where they just gifted them 3 points.
That was mad. Cool. Your next honourable mention?
Keith Andrews, I think has to be in the list, in the conversation. Like, yeah, just surprised so many people. Like, I know you're skeptical of the whole of his impact, and that Brentford is very much a system-run club, and that the next man up will generally seemingly do quite a good job because they are so well run and have become a well-oiled machine over the last 4 or 5 years.
You read my mind because I was literally about to say that.
But you still have to give him the credit for it, because so many people were saying Brentford were going to be in trouble. I think we were both saying that they would be mid-bottom table. I think we both had them around 15th or so.
We said there was just too much change, wasn't there? We're like, okay, you lost Tony and you did well because you
lost Bueno Vissa and Norgard and your manager. That should have had a real impact, and
they did better.
They improved.
Yeah, okay, he does get some flowers, but yeah, okay.
But I think the reason why you can't give it to him is they looked certain for a European place with like 5 weeks left and finished outside of them, and given 59 Premier League teams like qualified for Europe next season, and they didn't manage to get one of those slots, does just kind of take you out of the conversation.
Yeah, it's a weirdly disappointing end to what should be like an unreal season, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's still been a positive season, but I just think that takes you out.
Okay. Now...
Okay, well, let's fight then. Let's get bloody. Come on.
Mate, Sunderland, who came up via...
for Regis Libris. Come on, then.
Sunderland, who came up via the playoffs, are in the Europa League football next season. Not Conference League, which is now a shitty tournament that no one cares about. Now Brighton are in it, and we've won it.
Farmers tournament now.
Farmers tournament now, after the absolute pedigree it was last year.
Yeah. Now Palace have won it. It's a farmers tournament, but yes, continue.
Sunderland have managed to get... Yeah, it's mad. Like, it's absolute mad. Throughout the season, they went on unbeaten at home for ages, which I did predict going to say would be difficult. They had a style of play which wasn't backs up against the wall the whole time either, which is insane for... Well, oh, come on. Compared to... Yes, they gave up a lot of chances, but it wasn't like they had nowhere... It wasn't long ball, soak the pressure. It wasn't a Tony Pulis or Roy Hodgson performance week in and week out.
I mean, the stats would disagree with you.
But it didn't look like it on the pitch.
No, but the stats would disagree with you. Continue making your case and I'll make my counter argument. I mean, he's second on my list, I think.
I just think that the magnitude of it all, just with players who, they didn't bring in any real journeyman or big names or anything like that, did they? They kind of stuck with us. Well, They brought
I
in
mean,
lots of
outside of
signings.
Granit Xhaka,
Yeah, Grant Xhaka's the only one who is probably there later on the list for me as well.
yeah,
But they played as a team to get it all done, and I
for
think the
sure.
manager has to be given a lot of praise for that.
I mean, the second youngest playing squad, average age of 24.8, like that is definitely like worth celebrating. Do you want to hear my counter arguments? Are that they only scored 38 goals, which was the third worst in the division, and XG, which I know you're a denier of, had them finishing 18th.
That's
So,
mental. That is
like,
actually mental.
like the stats will back me up that they overperformed massively. And how many of those games did they win by the odd goal? And Robin Roos was on
Robert,
sensational
he was.
form. Like no one could have anticipated a young Dutch keeper coming in and just like making so many last ditch clawing saves to get to keep those 1-0s or those 2-1s, 3 points for Sunderland. And I know that is a credit to them. It is also just they massively overperform.
Yeah, but they overperformed because of the manager. No,
Yeah, but you were calling for his head
I was
like
not.
at some
You're
point.
That's hyperbole beyond belief. Calling for his head.
No, in March you were literally saying, and there were even reports in the
There were
newspapers,
reports,
like the
yeah, which were mad.
tabloids, that like maybe they make a decision at the end of the season. Thank you, Register Briss, but we'll
Yeah,
we'll move on. Like
it was
if it
after
had
that Forest game, wasn't it? Was it 5-0 in the first half or 4-0 in the first half and ended
4-0
5
in the
0
first half ended
Yeah,
ended 5-1, didn't it?
yeah.
And they yeah, like
Okay,
they
let me
looked
hear your
awful in
point
that.
for Areola. Even though technically he's not in the other 14 no more, so you're breaking your own rule here.
Well, no, he was with the Bournemouth throughout the season.
Well,
He
yeah, but
ended he ended the season with Bournemouth, so
no, but the contract for the end of the season doesn't end till was it the 1st of July? So
well no, now you're just being an asshole.
give yourself your own
Now you're just
medicine. You
twisting my
prick.
words wrong, but okay. My case for Iraola is sixth place finish with Bournemouth, achieving Europa League football, one spot ahead of Sunderland. I will have you know. When 18 games unbeaten, add to that the fact that they were unbeaten in the first 11 or something like that. Like the first 3 months of the season, they were excellent. Yes, they had a dip around December sort of time. Beat Arsenal at the Emirates in the run-in. Like when Arsenal were gunning for a title, Bournemouth came to their yard, didn't sit back and try and nick anything. They were the better team on the day. They like they carved them open for the second goal that Scott puts away. Like got the 1-1 draw against Man City that took the title off them. Like and they were the better team on that day. Like so they beat like I mean, they barely drew that game against Man City. Haaland scored in the 96th minute. So, in my opinion, they kind of won those two games. I know they did. The second one was a draw, but like they got the moral victory, if you know what I mean.
Fuck's sake. We're going to moral victories
And
now.
then also similar to Sunderland, they've got the fourth youngest playing squad, so an average age of 25.1. And on the opposite side to Sunderland, they were the fifth highest scorers. Bournemouth were entertaining every single game of this season. What Bournemouth game did we ever come out of and go, well, yeah, they got the victory. It wasn't particularly pretty. But they just ground it out, or they were lucky, or anything. If anything, they were unlucky at times, and the attractiveness of their football it hindered them defensively at times when they like drew 4-4 against Man United and had chances to win 5-4. Like, like this is like the attractiveness of the football plays in a lot of factors to me. I was excited to watch Bournemouth every season, every week. I don't think I was excited to watch Sunderland every single week. I was excited for their bigger games, like the derby when a big team was coming to Sunderland, it was good because I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna punch them in the mouth. Like Sunderland are gonna give them a fight today and probably come out with 3 points, like how the Stadium of Light was at times.
Yeah,
Whereas Bournemouth, I was like, I know I'm gonna see like liquid football at times. Like I know I'm going to see pressing, I'm going to see young talent, like just given like the leash, just let go, and just like and how good did like okay, one of your points for Sunderland is he moulded a squad that had a lot of incomings. Iraola lost half of his defence last year. He lost three of his back four and his goalkeeper.
But my counter argument, if we're gonna have counter arguments each way, it's easier for Areola because he knew the Premier League already. Most of his players knew the Premier League already. I will always be one of vouchers for a club coming new to the Premier League or a club like expected to do a lot less. Being able to overextend is better than a club that should be finishing mid-table, basically finishing higher up. But I guess we did think they would go down as well and losing their players. I don't mind conceding this one, but I think Caprice needs a lot of praise, like a lot,
Oh,
a lot of praise.
100% agree. That's why he's in the conversation for sure, and it's very very close. Like we've had a good debate there, and I know I've stamped my foot down and dictated this one time. I promise I won't do it for the rest of the show, but I do think Iraola edges it.
Yeah, you always enjoy a good debate, don't you?
I just like proving you wrong, but.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's go to goal of the season. What Bournemouth goal have you picked for goal of the season?
I do have one Bournemouth goal in here, Tyler Adams versus Sunderland.
Yeah, of course. Is that your main pick?
No.
I mean,
but it's on the nomination. It must be on your nominations too.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, there was one goal that blew it out of the water for me, so I haven't even bothered with nominations, and it's the Harrison.
Okay, well, do you want me to? I was going to say, do you want me to run through my six? But you've gone for it there.
Giving mine away. I'm just going Harrison Reed one against Liverpool. Nothing's being that for me. Run for your six, and I'm hoping that's the top of your six.
Well, I don't really have one that I settled on. The first one is Buendia's goal against Spurs in the first Villa Spurs game of the season. But I think it's a really nice team goal, like the long diagonal ball, the touch that sets it up for Buendia, but then he's given a lot of space to get the shot away. Then it's Adams in the pouring rain against Sunderland, spots the keeper off his line. He's at the edge of the centre circle and he pings it like that. It just shows great. And that's another, not to go back to our previous debate, but tip the hat to Andoni Iraola, who says he wants his players to look straight away and see if the goalkeeper's off his line. He wants the quickest route to goal. Anyway, I'm not hashing up the debate that we've just finished. Wilson against Palace that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that was really good.
Really great one too. And then Travella stabbed it and just curls in. Is such an aesthetically pleasing goal.
Yeah, it really was. Seeing that in person as well, you kind of stood I don't think there's anything we could do about that. And it's there I don't want to be annoyed, but I can't think who to be annoyed at. And then you watch the replay at half time. It's I still can't be annoyed at anyone because. But yeah. Fair.
No. And then the other three I've got listed are Osula's against United. It's because he picks it up from the on the wing and curls it in. Yeah, it's a nice goal. Mitoma's rocket against Spurs. I'm not surprised that you haven't mentioned this one, but yes,
at the time I did say it was a good goal.
It was a very, very, very good goal. Just absolutely pinged off his boot, and then. I'm okay to concede this one to you, but my other nomination is Tati's consolation goal of the season against Newcastle, where the ball is bouncing and he loops it over the keeper of his line.
Yeah,
I'm happy to concede this. Harrison Reed's versus Fulham, last kick of the game, pelted it top corner, unlikely goal scorer as well, and it got them a result. It's got everything.
That's it, isn't it? When you're talking about it, there's a past podcast I listen to, and they're a goal of the season can't come in a loss and stuff like that. And I'm pretty strong with that as well. It's just this is all wrapped into one pretty perfectly. And the goal itself, it's a bit like that Mamouche goal last year, where it's you look at it and you're not sure if it's the TV angle that makes it look a bit more spectacular, or where the cameras are in Craven Cottage at that height. But something about it, just insane.
What I would say is I don't think he's placed it. He's just pelted it.
He's twisted it, and it looks sick.
He's just absolutely thunderbasted it and hoped and prayed that it hits the back of the net.
That's That's what I want. That's what I want. It's awesome. It's like that Jagielka one against Liverpool, but on steroids. Do you know what I mean? Just yep, last minute, fuck it, let's see what happens here. Bang, top corner.
Yeah, no, it reminded me of the Lanzini one against Spurs during
Yeah,
COVID, where he just like pings it and to cap off a 3-0 comeback to 3-3. So yeah, I'm all on board on Harrison Reed's
there we go.
equaliser there.
Nice, cool. Okay, should we move on to rookie of the season, first Premier League year / under 21 at the start of the season?
Yeah, I have a standout for this one, and then I've got notable mentions. So
Okay,
do you
do you
want
want
to
to
do?
do your notable? Because I've got two here, but I'm
Okay,
kind of split between the two. But
let
I
me
think
reel through my notable my others. Um, Ryan at Bournemouth. No surprise, I've mentioned another Bournemouth player. I will mention another one in this section, but Ryan came in, was absolutely amazing the first couple games, dipped a little, and then ended the season really, really well. Like,
yeah, Ryan's been one of my. He's probably lesser of my two, but he's in there because yeah, basically
I mean, he just looks like the ceiling. Like there is no ceiling for that player.
yeah.
The brief spell that we've seen of him at Bournemouth so far, he looks like he could reach top level potentials. Um, Other mentions: Noah Siddiqui at Sunderland. I at the start of the season mentioned Habib Diarra as like one of the top 5 signings, and you mentioned did you mention Granit Xhaka, or we talked about him at the time?
I think we talked at the beginning of the season. We talked about him, and I was like, I was a bit wary, but like if it glues it all together, it'll work. But I think I was more on the wary side than I was like that's a good
Yeah,
signing.
yeah,
Sure.
and Habib Diarra ended up getting injured, so he had a bit of a disrupted season. But Noah Siddiqui next to him was just absolutely amazing. Like really helped Granit Xhaka excel with his legs. So you've got like a 20-year-old next to obviously Granit Xhaka who's using his experience and like leadership and sort of picking his times to go and to use his energy smartly. You need some legs around him next to if you're going to have that kind of player in midfield, and Siddiqui was that. Mateus Mane at Wolves. I know Wolves were bottom of the season, but I think the Wolves fans and Premier League fans will realise that the one bright spark in their season was Mateus Mane. Like I think that kid has all of the skill, all of the talent to take the next step up, and I think maybe a season in the Championship does him well, but also I could see him getting a Premier League move as well.
Yeah, it was pretty hard there for me, but it was a bit there. Like, did he do enough to get
Enough.
complete player of the season for me? I
Yeah,
don't think it was enough, even though he did so much. Like, it was pretty
yeah.
insane.
I've got two more honourable mentions. El Hadji Malik Diouf at West Ham, just like he like stuff like young player, first season in a new league. He's more of a wing back that had to play left back at times, so defensively susceptible at times. But and he did put in a lot of bad crosses, but some of the good crosses were absolutely on the money. And then my last mention is JD Cambo at Crystal Palace. Like I think
Thank
he
you. Yes.
really stepped up where I think there were a lot of question marks about him at the start of the season, like when he
Well, no,
first
no,
came into the Palace team.
there weren't question marks when we got him. It was like, oh, that's Mark Gay's replacement. Then we
Yeah,
sell Mark Gay and he has to come in, and then he drops a couple of clangers in a few
yeah,
games, and it's there like, ah shit. It wasn't like ah shit. It was like, oh, he's obviously getting used to it because when Anderson came in ages ago, yes, he was a lot older. He dropped a few clangers. When Mark came in, he dropped a few clangers, but you could see there's a player in there. And then what he's
yeah.
gone from now till the end of the season, playing, I think he ended up playing like 32 games this season, which is insane when he was meant to be basically in the not the reserves, but the under 21s for
I mean,
most of the season.
like to use an NFL term, you were redshirting him behind, like which what they do with like the quarterbacks, like you like keep him behind your starter. He was like, I don't think you planned on losing Gahey in January. It kind of
No,
just the situation was forced, and I think I like it seemed like you were kind of just like, right, Gahey will leave on a free transfer, and then Cambo will learn under him this season, and then take his spot next season.
but he is a player, man. Like I think he's still 19. and he's bossing proper Premier League strikers, like big men around. He's good
Yeah,
on the
yeah. I
ball.
remember that turgid game West Ham Palace played, and it was like trying to get in on that right hand side where you had Tyrick Mitchell, who's probably the best defensive left back in the Premier League, and Camvo really excelling at that period of time towards the end of the season. You were getting no joy down that left.
Yeah, I can't praise him enough. And the performance our whole back line put in the final was unreal. Even though I guess
Mhm.
Real didn't put too much. But yeah, do you want to say your Bournemouth Young Player of the Year as well?
Well, I mean, all that's to say that's very nice from JD Camvo, but we both know who the young player of the season was, and it was Eli Krupi Jr. at Bournemouth.
Yeah, I wanna take it away from you, but I can't.
You can't, like, there's just nothing to say. Like, most goals from a teenager in their debut Premier League season with 13, beating a record that Robbie Keane has held for 20 plus years. Like, and they weren't they weren't all penalties.
No,
He's
there won't.
got some absolute bangers in there.
It was
Some
only
really
one
important
penalty.
goals as well.
Was it one or two penalties? I can
I
only
think it was
think.
a couple. I think it was two.
Yeah, I can remember one. I can't remember the other. But yeah, unreal. Like, and no one saw that coming. Like, no one in their
No.
right mind would have said, "Oh yeah, this Creepy's going to finish with that many goals by the end of the season, or even be starting games for Bournemouth this
I'm
season."
sure
Like,
Palace were linked with him like West Ham were over the last couple of seasons when he was at Lorient. Like we would get linked with him, and I know it wouldn't have gone this well if he'd come to West Ham. He went to the right situation,
well, it's almost like
and
all the bricks fell into place at Bournemouth as well. It was like Semenyo leaves, Emmanuel
yeah,
doesn't really hit the ground running, needs someone else to step up, and he steps up and delivers for him. And if you're Bournemouth, you're sat there looking at that front line they have now. It's almost stronger than it was with Semenyo somehow, with Ryan and Krupi. It's
yeah,
crazy, like absolutely crazy.
yeah, completely. Like he really stepped up, as you say, after Semenyo left, and the last 8 matches he scored 5 goals. Like really, at, absolutely vital to Bournemouth's like 18 match unbeaten run at the end of the season. Their finish in the top six. Like there's one thing with Krupi that it just sort of feels like early trademarky. Like don't give him like a bit of space at the edge of the box. Like he just feels like, especially when it gets to that like left hand side of the circle that's just outside the box. Like if you give him enough space there, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, I'd agree with you completely. It's just, yeah, and I hope it's not a flash in the pan. I don't think it will be a flash in the pan at all, but yeah, he's definitely going to be one to watch next season. I think that's an easy one for us to agree on.
I mean, if he stays, like he's already being rumored to be like £100 million signing now. Like all the big teams in the world are looking at him. Like I mean, it's not surprising a teenager making this impact in their Premier League debut season that all of the sharks of the football world are looking and going, well, if we get him now, we can have him for 12, 50, like 10, like 12, 15 years maybe.
Yeah,
Like this is it. And I think they only bought him for, I want to say like 15-ish mil, give or take, like a few mil. So they'll easily sell him on for 100 probably.
make all that profit. But yeah, let's not talk. You're talking about that now. That's season preview stuff. This is awards. So yeah, another Bournemouth pick in a category for you. So should we move on to flop of the season? I'm guessing there's no Bournemouth players in here for you, is there?
No, there is not.
Okay. I think there's one standout candidate
There's
for
one
it.
standout.
Oh, I love it that we're good if we're different here, but it's also a player that I built up at the beginning of the
Oh,
season in predictions.
oh, okay, we are different here.
Are we different then? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
you go.
okay, I'll go through my honorable mentions, and then you can go for yours, and then we can see if
Okay,
we.
mine's not a player, so go.
Oh, okay.
So you go fully with yours, and then I'll come in with mine.
Oh, I didn't know we could go for someone else, something else than the
Well,
player.
last year it was Sam Barrett, the referee. So
Oh yeah, fair. Okay. Mine player wise, James McAtee maybe a bit harsh, but I mean went for
Ooh.
quite a big thing. Price tags for us didn't really do much. Tyler Dibbling at Everton, like I think we called that out. You called that out pretty early on in the season, didn't you? Then Visser at Newcastle, pretty
Yeah,
obvious one.
he's on my list.
Yeah, but my number one was Harvey Elliott after bigging him up at the beginning of the season, saying I think that Villa move would be good for him. And then I think he played. Did he even play
He
combined
didn't. He
90
didn't.
minutes?
No, well, he didn't make 10 appearances because there was all that talk about if he made 10, Villa had an obligation to buy him, and so they just like played him like 9 times, and then was like, right, you can sit on the bench for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
which he made light of in the Europa League celebrations. But I know that must have been a really tough season for Harvey Elliott, and yeah, weird. I definitely did not see that coming. Like a player who excelled at a unders tournament for England last summer, getting a move that really should have. I mean, it was funny because we on our top five signings, I think I had Harvey Elliott and I think you had Jadon Sancho, and I don't think either of them really.
No, we had him the other way around. I definitely.
No, we didn't because I remember going like on a massive tangent about how much I love Jadon Sancho, but I have been burned by Jadon Sancho in the Premier League.
Did I say Sancho would be good because he'd be with Rashford and he'd be with his friend again? And
Maybe.
then did you say Harvey Elliott? And I.
But
Maybe.
Rashford had gone. Rashford was at Barcelona at this time.
Yeah, I'm certain I went for Harvey Elliott being good and you said no.
I think
Maybe I'm
check the tapes.
misremembering.
Check the tapes.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I can't be bothered. But yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, not much more said for that one. So what's your
Okay,
flop of the season?
I've got a couple of other notable mentions. A player that you didn't mention, Anthony Elanga's £55 million move to Newcastle that resulted in 0 goals, 1 assist in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, but 2 goals at the new camp. Like,
Okay, in a what 8-2 loss.
yeah, but still.
Like,
Still.
you won't be happy with this, but Strand Larsen's £55 million move to Palace, where he was then benched for Mateta after his failed move and an injury recovery, I do think has to be mentioned.
Get fucked. Get absolutely fucked.
Am
No
I wrong
way.
in saying he's not my flop of the season, but like £55
That's no
million
way.
for a striker that you then bench for someone that you were trying to get rid of?
Yeah, but then we were playing so much football, and our front line was either Strand Larsen
And
started
how
or
many goals
Mateta
did Strand
started.
Larsen score for you?
It didn't matter about goals. It was a build-up play, battering
Yeah,
defence,
it
then
doesn't
bring Mateta.
matter. A
How
striker
many
scores
games?
goals. And
How
then he
many
got benched
goals?
for Mateta because
No,
Mateta was scoring goals.
he didn't get benched. He
He
basically
did. He
started with
got
Strand
benched.
Larsen, then Strand Larsen worked the defence, and then you bring Mateta on to score the goals that Strand Larsen should be getting. If you had the other way
Mm,
around, it would have been
mm,
like that. I'm not having that as a
mm,
flop at all.
mm.
And he scores the vital third goal in Shakhtar with a lovely, I think, got voted Palace goal of the season with a lovely round the keeper dink. Gets 2 against Burnley in his first home game. You're out of your mind.
Two
You're
against
out.
Burnley in a game that you lost.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault. Not his fault, is it?
Okay, and then my other notable mention that will go really, really under the radar is Mark Gay, not Mark Gahey, Mark, I don't know, actually know how to pronounce this guy's name, Gooey, the Chelsea forward who went on loan to Sunderland and then had his loan cancelled after 3 appearances because Liam Delap got an injury at Chelsea. Like that's a Brit. Like Sunderland were like, great, we got a Chelsea striker in on loan, and then 3 games later they were like, oh, he's gone. Sorry, guys.
You really went down a rabbit hole with this one, didn't you?
I told you I went deep. I told you I did my research. But do you want to know who the flop of the season is?
Who?
It's Ange Postecoglou as Nottingham Forest boss.
Yeah.
39 days in charge, shortest permanent tenure of any Premier League manager. Because I'm not counting this interim Sam Allardyce at Leeds that was like a roll of the dice 4 games towards the end of the season. That doesn't count to me. He was always an interim. Sacked 18 minutes after full time of a 3-0 home defeat to Chelsea was Ange Postecoglou. He drew twice and lost 6 of his 8 matches in charge. And he was just like, he so in your face and unapologetic about it, which great, good on you. But it was the most jarring playing switch that they tried, like playing style switch they tried to do from Nuno Espirito Santo, and it just never worked from day one. It was just like, this feels off, and then it just went from bad to worse.
Yeah, but he still got one more game and one more point than Frank de Boer did at Palace. Like,
Yeah, but Frank de Boer obviously had the summer.
that's
Like
fair.
Frank de Boer was hired at like what July 1 or something that his contract would have started, so he had a lot more days than Postecoglou's 39, and they lost to like Midtjylland in the Europa League. Like if they'd have given him any more time, it might have completely derailed Forest season.
Is that a flop though? Because I don't think anyone expected him to go in and change anything and do well. It was just a bad decision.
I mean, that's a pretty big flop. Like some you like Forest giving it the big fanfare of like we've signed a manager
Yeah,
who just won a Europa League. He's gonna win us the Europa League. He's gonna get us safe. He's gonna make us play a really nice style of football. And then you sack him 39 days later and bring in egg fried dice.
yeah. I guess if you're looking at it from that perspective, yeah, I've got to agree with you.
Like
Yeah,
that is flop of the season,
I'll
right?
concede. I'll concede with you on that one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
will. I will. Cool. Okay, should we go signing of the season? So, what Bournemouth player do you have here?
Two of them in my notable mentions, but
God,
not my number one. Okay, well, argue with them. Eli Krupi Jr., who we've just mentioned as young player of the season, argue with that as a
I won't.
nomination for signing of the
I
season.
won't. I think we need some variety here, mate.
Well, okay, I won't. Yeah, I won't bring up Krupi Jr. again. Okay, the other Bournemouth signing is Adrian Truffert, who replaced Milos Kerkez, and by the end of the season was an improvement on Milos Kerkez. Like,
Yeah,
I do think you
Trevor.
have to they have to both be in the conversation.
Yeah, Trevor was very good. They are. I'll agree with you, but it's getting a bit boring, mate. In all honesty, I think. It, I
Come
don't
on,
think
you
we have any.
cherries.
I don't think we have any Bournemouth fans that listen to this either. So
I'm the Bournemouth fan who listens to this clearly.
your own echo chamber.
Yeah,
It's
it's
going to
just
be a
me
Bournemouth
shouting
scarf
about how
appearing.
much I love Andoni Iraola.
Going to be a Bournemouth scarf appearing behind you in the next few weeks.
Hey, I told you I've got to go on loan to another under 14 team for the season. Do
God damn. Cool. Go on then.
you want
Who's
my
your?
other mentions or
Yeah, go other mentions.
Keenan Kermine Kelleher at Brentford? I think upgrade on Mark Flecken. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall at Everton. I think he
Yeah,
immediately came in and was like one of their top three players, if not their best player for most of the season.
yeah, he was shit
Uh,
on.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Leeds, free transfer, came in, really gave them that Premier League level striker. As much as I dogged on him at times, and apologised to him after he went on a goal scoring run, like still just like kept scored the goals that kept Leeds up and really led from the front. Great target man. I mentioned him earlier, Noah Siddiqui at Sunderland, also worth a mention. Another Sunderland mention, Brian Brobby, like didn't get the goals, but some of the target play was absolutely sublime to watch. Like the way he held up the ball, bullied defenders. And then lastly, Mateus Fernandez at West Ham. Like he was, I know West Ham were rubbish this season, but Mateus Fernandez was the dog's bollocks, and he was just so good. He was a delight. Even during the worst times, he had bad games, but some of the football West Ham were putting up was terrible, and he was excellent and really gave us a fighting chance in that midfield of getting us out of the situation that we ended up in.
Yeah, no, I agree with those as all as honorable mentions. In all honesty, what about your top one?
I think we both got the same one, so I'll let you go for it.
I've I've got Jacka as my one.
Yeah,
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 it's got to be, hasn't it?
had to be.
Like we touched on it already, didn't we? I think I was a bit unsure about him as a signing because yes, he went away and did what he did at Bayer Leverkusen, but you think coming back to the Premier League, where the lasting memory of him in the Premier League before this season was flipping off Arsenal fans, getting subbed against Palace, which
Getting
oh
booed,
story.
like booed after booed,
And
like
it did me to him more, him flipping off Arsenal fans, like in all honesty. But yeah, he's been the glue in that Sunderland team that really took them to where they got to. Okay, we had a bit of a technical difficulty there. No one might have noticed, but we've had to come back and re-record the last, what was it, three categories again? So
yes.
yeah, I think where we left off was Xhaka holding the glue together. So yeah, Tom, what did you think of Xhaka for signing of the season?
You sure you don't want me to talk about more Bournemouth players? Because I can do.
The, to be fair, it's better because at least we can cut down some of the Bournemouth loving you were having in shithouse and
we
limbs and
we actually won't because they weren't in any of the rest of the categories.
whatever you say,
Uh,
Major, whatever you say.
yeah, Granit Xhaka definitely got to be signing of the season for me as well. Like a total package of around 17 million with add-ons that I'm sure he's reached, given how successful he was at Sunderland. But like, what really struck us about it is, I think we touched on it, that it was maybe a bit suspicious at the start of the season. We wasn't sure what to expect given Xhaka's previous time in the Premier League with Arsenal. He had gone away and been a linchpin for Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen, but that's in the Bundesliga and it's a player in his 30s. What was he going to be like when he came back to the Premier League and with Sunderland? And it was such a complete polar opposite to the rest of Sunderland signings, who were all young with potential and resale value sort of thing. They really needed his leadership in the middle of the park, and he absolutely he buoyed the Sunderland crowd on with his defensive contributions, crunching tackles, like interceptions. It was there from day one, and it really went on throughout the season.
Yeah, it's that, isn't it? And even towards the end of the season, where he wasn't in the team through suspension and injury, you felt like teams saw him not being in that team and thought, "Oh, we have a chance now against Sunderland." Whereas before, it was just a bit like, "Yeah, he's the mechanic and machine in the middle of it, really bossing for him." And yeah, we can't really say there's anyone else that's been signed this season, can we?
No, definitely not. Not the impact they've had, and obviously we've touched on Sunderland's a lot throughout this show, and what they did, and Granit Xhaka was definitely at the heart of that.
Nice, cool. Okay, should we move on to veteran of the season? Which, I mean, we've done this all before already, but we might as well give it again for the listeners. I'm still calling this bullshit. This one,
Why is it bullshit?
because there's only one person that you're going to vote for in this, because there's not that many people that are over 35 in the Premier League.
Yeah, which is a true celebration of this person's achievement
No,
at
no, no, no.
35 years of age.
Bring up your contenders like you did.
Okay, so they have to be 35 or older at the end of the season. The four players I have who qualify and are actually worth talking about are Jordan Henderson at Brentford,
We're
James
not.
Milner at Brighton,
No,
Carl Darlow at Leeds, and
no.
Danny Welbeck.
We're not talking.
That guy
Okay,
rolls.
last time, to be fair, this is good listeners. This got lost because he went on a tirade for about 10 minutes about how Jordan Henderson is the player of the Premier League this year. So
That's
it's good
not.
that we.
That's he's the veteran. He might be in the shout
No,
for
no,
veteran of the
no.
season.
It's not happening again. It's not
I didn't
happening.
say player of the season, but
Yeah.
what like the expectations were so low when Jordan Henderson signed for Brentford. Everyone was like, "That's a weird signing." He's like he after 2 years in Saudi and with Ajax in the Netherlands, and then he came in and was like, "Oh, actually, he gave them real leadership in the way that they had missed Norgard since he'd gone to Arsenal. Like, I think it's just like given we have this category of veteran of the season, which is a nice like nod to someone who's still giving it their all at like 35 plus. Jordan Henderson's well worth that.
I can't believe I've sat through this twice. I can't believe it. The other ones, James Milner, you slagged off when he got the appearance record because he said he
Yeah,
wasn't
but
as
it's
good as Barry.
still worth tipping your cap to him. Like 40 years of age. Yeah, he only made 7 starts this season, but 20 appearances in total. Yes, I did say, and I do still think that he just kept playing long enough to get the appearance record off Barry. But still, like tip your cap to him. Like we said when he got that record, it was like it's impressive, but you did just kind of stick around long enough.
And your next one, Darlow, who you said isn't a Premier League goalkeeper
Yeah,
throughout the
and he proved
season.
me wrong. Unlike you, Alex, I'm okay to admit when I'm wrong. I've made many apologies this season.
So having it. And we're not talking about Danny Welbeck. We
Danny
are
Welbeck
giving
is the veteran of the
no,
season though.
we're giving it
37 appearances, 13 goals, second season in a row with over 10 Premier League goals, which is only the second time in his career. So he's aging like fine wine. Danny Welbeck leading Brighton's charge into the Europa Conference League.
nope. This is being given to Seamus Coleman for all his service to the Premier League, and we're moving on. And I'm not talking about this category ever
Seamus
again.
Coleman, who made like one appearance and made a mistake in it.
Hey, hey, it's about everything you put into those 35 years. Cool. Okay, shithouse of the season. how many do you have for this? You just do you just have one, don't
I've
you?
just got the one for this, so you go with
Yeah.
yours.
So I had a few. I had Brian Brobby at Newcastle away when he scored and taking his shirt off and celebrating to the crowd, especially because the away end at St James's Park is obviously up in the heavens. So he's literally just shirt off staring at Newcastle fans, which is pretty top. I had Will Hughes just throughout the season. I mean, no one else probably sees it apart from Palace fans, but he's just a
Worst
general
take ever.
shithouse.
The Milky Bar kid is not getting an award.
Then I had Unai Emery for Michael Bizzard. That was just absolutely brilliant. Like, just over and over again. But then I think we both had the same number one where Traore eating Pedro
Yeah,
at
the standout moment of Adama Traore's West Ham career that looks to be over before it even began, scaring the life out of João Pedro after he pushed him, and yeah, Pedro, the look on Pedro's face, like he just wants the ground to swallow him up because he thinks Traore is going to end him.
Mate, it's the way chucks one player out the way, then comes back and it's because his hands are down by his side, his hands are spread open whilst he's walking towards him, and it just looks
Yeah,
like I'm about
and
to
also
kill
he's massive.
Massive, yeah. And he's gigantic. Absolutely would shit myself if I saw that coming for me. But yeah,
Yeah,
there weren't really any other. There weren't really a shit house throughout the whole season. It's not as easy when you have like Vardy, who it's easy like,
yeah.
oh yeah, just take him, and he's done it the whole season. It all. I was going to look at the hair pulling stuff, but that's not really shit house, really, was it? It kind of got to a point where it was a bit like some of these aren't even red cards. It's just like grabbing a shirt and whatnot. So
Yeah, we talked about hair pulling too much this season. Let's
yeah, that's fair.
endeavour to not talk about that next season, please, guys.
Nice, cool. And then we have limbs of the season, which I have quite a few for. Do you want me to run through the ones I have, and then you can bring up what you think is?
Yeah, I've got two, so
Good too. Okay, so I've got Buendia against Arsenal, where he scores in the last minute, and you got all the Arsenal players like losing their minds on the floor, and Villa Park going crazy. That was pretty good. I have Tanaka making it 3-3 against Liverpool at Ellen Road, which yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of limbs at Ellen Road throughout the season, and always
it's
will
always
be.
got
Like,
good limbs. Ellen Road.
yeah. That was like an easy one to go look for and dig that one out there. Chukwueze when he makes it when in the 4-5 against City. I can't remember if it was to be 4-4 or 4-5 in that game, but when you see limbs at Craven Cottage, you know something special's happening. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's it. And then I had Tammy Abraham in the 4-3 against Sunderland. Towards the end of the season, just in the last minute as well.
Look at you giving Tammy Abraham flowers.
I know. It's more the limbs than the goal itself, but what are you gonna do? Then I have all the goals in the Sunderland Tyne-Wear derby. All the Sunderland goals, sorry, in the Tyne-Wear derby. Yeah, I think my standout one is the own goal from Automata, and then the celebrations at the end of that game for Sunderland fans. But my number one probably would be Nketiah versus Liverpool, which was like the latest winner at the latest win in the Premier League at that point in the season.
At that point, and then it got upped because I'm not giving Palace an award there because I can't even remember that. It was so long ago.
How can you remember that?
It was so long ago.
Oh, okay. Because so long ago, it doesn't matter. This bullshit.
Yeah,
Recency bias.
Recency bias.
Okay,
Well,
what
I'm
form
gonna
of celebration?
and in
What form of
recency bias, I'm gonna bring up the more recent, latest ever winner in Premier League history. Harvey Barnes winner against Leeds 4-3 in the 100th minute of a game that never seemed to end and had. I mean, St James's Park is one of those. It's similar to Ellen Road. Like the limbs are always there. Like it's always guaranteed limbs. But yeah, I do think my vote would probably be for Brian Brobby's winner for Sunderland at Newcastle because of just the unique factor that it's the away end at St James's Park is right up in the gods. A few thousand people just like 200 yards in the air, standing on the railings, like hugging it, like just going mental. It's just like such an iconic thing to like you said, Brian Brobby in a shithouse part was like celebrating in front of the Newcastle fans because they have to look up so high and squint to try and see the Sunderland fans, but the limbs were great.
Yeah, I'll give you that one as well. So yeah, we agreed on a few. We made it to the end without killing each other, which
Isn't it nice when we get along?
yeah, I mean, I guess people didn't see what got cut out in the other bit where we were cursing and trying to
Slagging
strangle
each other off.
But cool. Yeah. So feel free to rate and review the podcast. I don't have my notes in front of me, so I can't even remember this.
Oh, I can't even remember what to say. Yeah, please get in touch. We're going to be doing our pre-season like previews of each of the teams and that, and we'd love to have you guys get involved. So reach out to us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, or Reddit at Other14FC Podcast, or email in at Other14FCPodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get the conversation going about getting you guys involved in our pre-season previews.
Yeah, just want to hear how you're feeling about your teams, how last season went, what you're predicting for this season, and also look for the poll that Tom will hopefully be putting up when this comes out to vote for our player of the season. Which
You mean the poll that I will rig that says Alex Scott is our player of the season?
You got all those bots, haven't you, just hitting.
100%. I'm gonna go AI some bots now to hammer it. Hey, look, we got 10,000 votes. Don't look into the data, Alex. Don't look at it.
Like the 3 people that are going to vote in that, and you will vote for Harry Wilson.
And 2 of them will be us. So.
Cool. But anyway, mate, I'll catch you next week for our team of the season.
Cheers, man.
Bye.